RECO by Emerus Brooker. Document recording. Employee Handbook.
Iteration 1,819,400. Issue date the 20th of April 14. Initiative Employee Handbook. The rules. Rule 18. Life. All life conceived or constructed within the Alistiria settlement is property of the initiative. We have the authority to create, manipulate and edit any living being within the confines of Alistiria territories, as well as terminate life beyond the territory and/or threats to Alistiria or the initiative. The initiative protects life. It is our firm belief that humanity's ability to adapt has made survival possible, even through the last war. The initiative seeks to harness humanity's need to evolve and improve our species, in order to help us to thrive in the new world. Homo sapien are the only species that have a right to life. All other life forms are there for food and/or production to progress and sustain our society. The ultimate form of life are humans. However, humanity is strife with weaknesses and imperfections that need to be removed. In Alistiria, we strive to push humans forward into the next stage of evolution, changing the DNA of our people so that they can become the ultimate forms of themselves in order to best perform in their assigned roles: defense, development, production. All humans born or manufactured are edited for the advancement and conservation of society. Anyone unaltered will be forced through the RECO realignment before they turn 17. Any anomalies, disfigurements or defects should be immediately evicted from Alistiria territories. Signed, the Initiative, for the betterment of the species. End of Rule 18.
Chapter 1. Are we human? From the moment you were born, they own you. Your blood, your body, every cell and double helix, past, present and future, even your death is theirs to play with. My uncle always told me that the gods died out with the last war, when temples crumbled and religious texts burnt to ash. The thought of a benevolent god vanished with the old world, disappeared in brimstone and blood. But here we are with an all-knowing, all-powerful organization that dictates our entire lives. Freedom is a concept for children's stories, and in this world you grow up quickly, especially when you belong to someone else, and that someone else has decided that just being human isn't enough. When they decide the only way for you to fit into the world is to be altered and corrected. I stared down at the letter that sits innocently in my lap, and I want to cry, to scream. I knew this day was coming. I have lived 16 years with a timer in my head ticking down until this exact moment. There was nowhere to hide. They would always find us anyway. I was already pushing it. Everyone else my age had already been given their placements and been altered accordingly. But after 16 years of getting to know who I am, there is only one thing going through my mind. Would I even be me anymore? If there was any point to it, I would beg them to be placed in production. At least then I would be able to keep some semblance of myself. They say the human race ended with a bang. Mushroom clouds and artillery projectiles. I say it ends with a summons from the Initiative. The Initiative sorted every job into 3 categories: defense, development, and production. The more you have a prerequisite for your assigned job, the less of your DNA they change. For jobs in defense and development, they strip away almost all your DNA in order to give you traits and abilities that have been approved by the Initiative. They manufacture the ideal soldiers, bodyguards, teachers, doctors, and scientists, pushing them out like new tools on a conveyor belt. I know I will never be lucky enough to end up in production. For a single moment, I can almost imagine myself tending the fields with my uncle, pulling out rice crops from the penny fields. The only real change to my body being greater wiry strength, more weather-resilient skin and hands that feel like leather. It's a pipe dream I need, like the air in my lungs. A pipe dream that will shatter the moment I enter the RECO facility and get my assignment. I have little doubt that in a few short hours, I will undergo the triangle of change, and then I will no longer be human. With shaking hands that feel like lead weights, I open the letter. Dear Mr. Alaric Crichton, congratulations. You are being summoned to the RECO facility to undergo correction. Your appointment is at 12 sharp, where you will receive your vocation assignment and alterations, after which you would have completed your integration into our great society. Good luck for your future. Long live the Initiative. The initiative for the betterment of the species. Signed, the initiative with association from the RECO Cooperative. Anxiety clings to me like a second skin as I make my way through the house. I look around, committing every facet of every cracked light grey wall to memory as if I will never see them again. I pass the hallway mirror, stopping in front of it, drawn to the fact that this is quite probably the last time I will see my thin, lanky body, dark brown hair, and aqua blue eyes. My gaze honed in on my eyes I inherited from my mother. Flecks of green highlighted by the reflecting light from the window, making them shine like the Alistiria sea. It hurts to think that no matter what vocation, the last thing I have of my mother's will be the first thing to change after alteration. Production has hazel or green, development has unsettling ice blue or insipid lilac, and defense have alien-looking yellow or demonic red eyes. Just another thing to prove we are being made into creatures, like that monster created by a scientist in one of the forbidden texts. That is what we all are now, monsters created by scientists. With that depressing thought, I reach the kitchen. Sanded, unvarnished wood, utilitarian metal, an eclectic mix of new and old utensils and appliances makes the kitchen have an unfinished, disjointed look to it. Two worlds never meant to meet collide. If I am honest, it fits Matt, the lunatic I call my uncle, perfectly. The said lunatic was currently wrestling a bag of rice, which could easily feed the whole defense division, through the front door. A relaxed, easy smile on his face that's in direct juxtaposition to his current situation. Dare I ask, I said deadpan. Alaric, you're up early, he says jovially, as he heaves what could easily be a £50 sack onto the table with little effort, sending a thud that sounds disturbingly like a dead body echoing around the kitchen. The paddy fields had a good harvest, and they asked me to cook up my famous rice and eggs to celebrate. Calling it famous is a bit of a stretch, I say, earning a friendly jab to the ribs. Oi, I'll have you know that is premium cooking that. Even the Trues have asked to try it. I straight out laugh at the pure absurdity of that statement. Yeah, right. The Alistiria sea would freeze before any of the 18 would ever taint their perfect bodies with food from us. I reply, sarcasm, disbelief, and resentment dripping from my words. The noble 18, also known as the true humans. The constructed golden children of the RECO Cooperative. Lab rats just like the rest of us. However, unlike us, they are treated like royalty, where we get our DNA ripped apart and muddied with animals until we meet the initiative standards. They get to remain human. Hell, they get 2 sets of human double helices. We get vocation assignments and trackers implanted in our wrists like disobedient mutts. And they get to live in the inner ring, lazing in their apartments, eating grapes from their private bodyguards' hands. I shake myself out of my bitter musings, focusing on the slicing, chopping, and sizzling of Matt's cooking. He looks up at me from the simmering rice, a frown on his face. Hey kid, you all right? You haven't criticized my chef skills yet. I scoff before shaking my head. I got the summons today. I have a few hours until my appointment. My voice is so meek I barely recognize it. Matt is silent as what I just said registers. Oh, it's going to be okay, he tries to reassure me, but I hear the fear in his voice anyway. How can you say that? We both know there is no way I am going to be placed in production. They are going to completely change me. None of this is okay, I shout over my hyperventilating breaths. Matt moves over to me, wrapping me in a hug. Just remember what I say all the time. Adapt and survive, change and thrive. And no matter what they change, you will always thrive. His voice is so full of strength and certainty, but I feel nothing but dread. I should probably get going, I whisper as my body trembles, and I make no move to move away from Matt's embrace. He hugs me tighter, as I muster up the courage to finally leave the house. I don't need to bring anything, like with most things in Alistiria. Everything I need will be provided for me at the RECO facility. What's the point of having personal effects when I might not even be the same person after I leave? See you soon, I call back to Matt from the door. Suddenly I feel like a soldier about to leave the territory for the first time. I imagine it feels similar, The same fear of the unknown, the same foreboding stinging that ripples through tense muscles, the same red flags flaring in the body. Taking a deep breath, I leave. Alistiria is a buzz as usual, the smell of the sea in the air. Horizon blocked out by the colossal walls that confine our haven. Every house identical to the next, surrounded by decaying skyscrapers and rusted old-world shops. Markets are sporadically placed in intervals along the first inner wall. The looming archway of the final ring approaches too quickly. Creepy, piercing yellow eyes of the guarding Defense Police Division track my every movement. I feel distinctly like prey being stalked by a predator. The RECO facility is the only building protected by the innermost wall. Unlike the drab grey houses most people are used to, the RECO facility is an ornate, shining gem. Perfectly constructed architecture of gleaming marble. It is a palace of psychopaths waiting to gut you. A structure of immense beauty that, in reality, is void of all personality and life. And here I was, walking to be gutted.
Please like, subscribe, and share for the next chapter. And I would love to hear any feedback you have in the comments below.